Welcome to the very first episode of Tweak's Garage. My name is John. My close friends know me as Tweak. I tend to mess with things and take things apart, modify them, do some pretty crazy shit. So I figured I'd start a channel and share it. In this series, we're going to be featuring my 24-inch Aaron snowblower. It was made in '71, and all my snowblowers have names, and the 24-inch is the small boy, and his name is Artemis. Artemis has already been modded with joystick operated shoot controls and an LED light. To supply power for all of that, I have added a battery and external alternator, since that was the most cost-effective option with the 7-horse. Now, back in the day, you could purchase an add-on alternator that would attach to the pull start, but finding one of those is extremely difficult, so that's why I went the route I did. I've been gathering parts for an 8-horse build since I had one with a cracked block and a bad rod. I was able to find a stock 3-amp charging coil for that as well to eventually swap with the 7. But the end of season came last year, and I think the 7-horse is starting to knock. So it's time to swap it out. Long story short, the bare block that I had got for the 8-horse build had an undersized bore, or so I had thought. I ended up getting it bored 63 thou oversized, kind of extreme, and while filming assembly, realized that the block is an older H80 block instead of an HM80 block. Hashtag learning. So the difference between the two is the ignition setup. An older H80 block uses a center-mounted magneto and points ignition, and the HM80 has an externally mounted ignition coil. Now, you can't run a charging coil on the older style block since the flywheels don't fit, and you can't fit both charging coil and the mag and points ignition in the same place. Capturing that discovery on video was hilarious, but lost content and all. I was able to locate an HM100 or 10-horse locally to fix that problem. Decided that I might as well continue filming and finish the 8-horse build. So I've done some light port cleanup on the 8-horse, as you can see here in this time lapse. The new rings gap perfectly within spec. I lapped the valves really well. And out of all the leftover parts from both 8-horses I've had, assemble the parts that should result in the best performance. I also ended up having to tear down the 10-horse and switch the crank out for a different output shaft size, and having that completely apart gave me an excuse to port that as well, but I might have went just slightly overboard with that, which you'll see in a future episode. So, in the next video, I will be covering and setting the ignition for the 8-horse. I've read that it's somewhat tricky. I guess we'll see. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.